بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Hello all students in Dروس service which targeted to third secondary grade first semester. Our lesson today is from Unit 6, Reading, Writing, Form and Function of Mega Goal 5, prepared and presented by Noura As-Sufyani. So all of you are welcome and let's start. We will learn today reading for specific information about men and women's language, writing a comparative and contrastive essay for the form and functions, present perfect progressive versus present perfect simple. First of all, here, we have two men and we have a question here. When men get together, what do they talk about? They talk about maybe sports, money, cars, economy, their works. When women are together, what do they talk about? They talk about fashion, shopping, their families, their children, sometimes their secrets. So this is the title for the reading text. We will know many things from this text and let's listen.
Pages 88 and 89. 8. Reading. Do men and women speak the same language? The difference in the ways that men and women communicate has been the subject of countless books, magazine articles, talk show discussions, and jokes. These differences can sometimes make men and women seem mysterious to each other, and can occasionally make communication difficult and confusing. One basic reason men and women have such different ways of communicating is that they see the purpose of communication differently. Research shows that women use communication as a way of growing closer to people and establishing intimate relationships. Women tend to use language to share thoughts and feelings and to be supportive. Meanwhile, men tend to see the goal of communication as accomplishing a task. Men most often use language to persuade, argue, convey facts, and demonstrate knowledge. Research has shown that these communication differences can be partially explained by the different ways in which the male and female brains are structured and wired. For example, the left side of the brain, where logic and literal thinking are processed, tends to be stronger in men. Meanwhile, women tend to think with the right side, which is where comprehension is processed. The female brain also has more connections between the right and left sides, so their thought process is likely to be more complex.
Okay, after the reading text here, let's evaluate what we have comprehend. First of all, answer the following questions. What do women see as the purpose of communication, and what about men? As we have read, we noticed that the women tend to talk about things to make relationships, all right? But for the men, they tend to talk or communicate to accomplish or finish or complete their tasks, all right? So here, women see communication as a way of establishing intimacy. Men use communication to accomplish or finish a task, right? Number 2, what causes men and women to communicate differently? Of course, it's because their brain, the structure and work of their brain, and also because of the how they have been raised to behave. All right. So here, male and female brains are wired differently, and men and women are raised to behave differently. Okay. What about the second part of the evaluation here? Choose the best answer to each question below. Feminine talk usually focuses on facts, feelings and relationships, or sports. So what's the correct answer for the feminine, for the female? Of course, it is okay. The answer is B, feeling and relationships. Okay. Number 2, masculine talk usually focuses on fashion, feelings, or economy and sports? For the male, the men, of course the answer is okay, economy and sports. Economy and sports. Now let's move to the writing part. Here, the writing skill. The writing is about a comparative and contrastive essay. How can we write an essay in which we need to compare between two things, two aspects, two ideas, two thoughts? So how can we compare between them? All right. First of all, to compare, first you have to compare, then contrast. What does that mean? It means that you have to write an introduction for the essay, and you have to write a body paragraph. The body paragraph here, in the first one, you have to write about similarity between the two ideas. Okay, what are the similarities between them? Number two, the body paragraph number two, the first difference between them. You have to discuss the difference, the first difference between them in a paragraph to finish the whole idea about the first paragraph. The third paragraph is the second difference between the two ideas here. Okay, the two things, the two aspects. And paragraph number four, emphasis on the superiority of the two ideas here. It means that you have here to contrast. Or the last paragraph is the conclusion. You have to summarize what you have discussed in the essay. So when you write a comparative, contrastive essay, develop a list of similarities and differences. Number two, establish your basis for comparison. Number three, structure your essay using an alternating or a block structure. It means that you have to discuss point by point and finish it. You block, okay, your structure, you block your discussion, and then move to the other point. Now here we have to watch the video here about how do I write thesis statements related to the contrastive or comparative and contrastive essay. Let's watch this video. So the thesis that you will write in the introduction should be the last sentence in the conclusion. All right. Now here, let's move to the form, meaning, and function. Okay, here we have present perfect progressive and present perfect simple. Okay, two forms here. The first one is present perfect progressive. The structure or grammatical structure for this form is has or have plus been plus verb with ing. Versus, okay, present perfect simple, which grammatical structure is has or have plus verb 3 or past participle. Okay, so we will discuss these two forms in details. First of all, present perfect progressive. Said has been driving since early this morning. This is the first sentence. Has been driving. It's present perfect progressive. Present perfect progressive. Alright? The second part here, he has driven 400 miles. Alright? So here has driven. Present perfect simple. Has driven is present perfect simple. So what's the difference between the two forms here? Why here I use has been driving and here has driven? Because here I'm focusing on the duration, not the action itself, not the driving itself, no. But the second part here, I'm focusing on the action here. So here Said has been driving since early this morning. Here we can say to say how long something has been happening, how long the action has been happening. It means that the duration for the action. But here, okay, we are focusing on the number. Okay, we are focusing on the number to say how many things have been done. Okay, so this is usages for present perfect progressive and present perfect simple. Also here we have the sentence, I haven't slept at all. My phone has been ringing all night. So we have two sentences. I haven't slept at all. It is a present perfect simple, and here has been ringing. It's a present perfect progressive. So why do you think here we use the present perfect progressive? I haven't slept at all. Why? Because my phone has been ringing all night. So here do you think that the speaker is annoyed? Of course, yes, to talk about annoying action or situation. Okay, so the action here, the ringing, okay, the phone annoyed the speaker here. Okay, so this is the second usage for present perfect progressive. They have decided that women talk about feelings more than men. They have decided. It's present perfect simple. So here we are focusing on the action itself, and how many times something has been done. So the guess for this here, we can say that in the present perfect progressive, we are focusing on the duration. On the present perfect simple, we are focusing on the action itself and the numbers. Okay? What about the questions? How can I make a question for the present perfect progressive and present perfect simple? If I'm focusing on the duration, okay, I have to use how long. How long have you been discussing stereotypes? If I'm focusing on the action, how many times have you discussed this issue? Or the number here, how many times have you discussed this issue? Here we use how many, and here we use how long. Okay, and for the present perfect progressive and present perfect simple, there are some words, some expressions or keywords, we call them keywords, like since, how long, all day, all night. Okay, so this is the words or this expression used for the present perfect progressive and sometimes for the present perfect simple. Now for the evaluation, complete the following with the present perfect or the present progressive of the verb in parentheses. Number 1, Sabah, I not see you since your graduation here. So I have to use not see in the present perfect. I have to correct this part or this verb. Maybe it's present perfect simple or present progressive. So what do you think here? I not see you since your graduation. Do you think here we have to use present perfect simple or present perfect progressive? So Sabah, I haven't seen, alright, I haven't seen you since your graduation. And as you see here, we have since. Okay, it's a keyword or expression that we use it, okay, in the present perfect simple or present perfect progressive. So Sabah, I haven't seen you since your graduation. Number 2, I teach English at our old high school. What do you think here? Shall I say I have taught English at our old high school, or I have been teaching English at our old high school. Do you think here we are focusing on the duration or the action? Okay, it could be I have taught English at our old high school, or I have been teaching. Alright, school. Okay, I have been teaching English at our old high school. Number 3, how long there? How long work there? So the correct answer is that how long have you been working? Okay, there. How long have you been working there? Number 4, we spend all month planning a dinner party for my grandmom. So here, spend, is it present perfect, simple, or present progressive? What do you think? All month here. So it's present perfect. We have spent, right, all months planning a dinner party for my grandma. Okay? This is for the evaluation here. If we want to summarize what we learned today, we can say that we learned today reading about the differences between men and women languages or communication, and also the writing a comparative and contrastive essay. How can we write them? Means that you have to write an introduction, and we have seen a video of how can we write a thesis statements for the introduction. And for also the body paragraphs. For the introduction, you have to write thesis statements, and then you have to write a body paragraph. For the first one, you have to write the similarities between two ideas or aspects. In the second paragraph, you have to discuss the first difference between them, and the third paragraph, the second one, and etc. For the fourth paragraph, you have to emphasize on the superiority of the two aspects, which one is the best, and the conclusion, it's a summarizing for the introduction and restating of the thesis in the introduction. Okay, for the form and function, we discussed the present perfect progressive and present perfect simple. We have two sentences here. Said has been driving since early this morning, and he has driven 400 miles. Okay. For reference here, we have Megagoal, Student's Book, and Teacher's Guide, Google Clip Art for pictures, and for the video about the comparative and contrastive essay, we have seen a video from the YouTube, okay, and this is the link for it. For more information, listen, you can serve the website of it and contact the Twitter account. And also you can call the number here, okay, and here we have the website for the gate of it. This is all for today. Hope all of you get benefit from my lesson. Thanks very much, and see you inshallah next time.